Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Akashic Record reading with the Akashic Sisters, Cheri and Jennie. And I hope everyone's having a nice day today with the weather. I know where I'm at, it's finally warm. So my windows are open. So if everyone hears a lot of noise, that's what that's from. How about you, Jennie?
It's beautiful here. I was outside and it's like perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Before we start, if you have questions, if you can put them in caps, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate it so I can see them. And I know I'm just a little bit of what's coming up. Me and Jennie are going to do a Cheri and Jennie Read the World. You can ask your anything but Trump questions on Thursday. We're going to be live, but also in my community page. If you can't be live or you have something you want to post a question, feel free to post a question there, and we'll read on the ones in there too. So, and do you have anything else coming up?
Not that I can think of right now. No, I'm still in class with Valerie. Dragonfly Crystals.
That's
Channeling
right.
class. That's going really, really well.
It sounds exciting. It really does. And if anyone's interested in the Akashic Record class with Val, I believe I know it's in May, and I'm not sure if I put her info in the description box. I meant to, but to be honest, I can't remember if I did. But it's dragonflycrystals.store. Or you can go to Dragonfly Crystals on YouTube, and she has a link there, and you can sign up for her Akashic Records class if anyone's interested in reading the records, even your own records. And it's your birthright to read your own records. So it's something everybody can do. And I highly recommend it. Even for your own spiritual development, it's well worth it. So let's see. And, I don't have, it might help if I actually had my thing to my mouse and my whatchamacallit here. Hi Viviani, thanks for coming. Foxy Roxy, Daniela, thank you. First time here, welcome. If you have a question, put it in all caps. And that's right, you're in Australia, it's autumn. Oh. Do you even feel this? Is there a book? I don't know. I'm terrible to say I don't know about if the seasons do kind of fluctuate, or does it pretty much stay warm there all the time, or does it depend on where you're at, like here in Australia? I'm glad we're coming out of winter, I'll tell you that much, and not going into it. Hi, Carl. How are you doing today? Jen Bowles, hi. Thanks for coming. Okay, so let's see. Start doing some questions. In Seattle, it's nice. It rains a lot in Seattle, doesn't it? They say, but it looks really, really pretty, though. But rain's better than snow. Okay, May 11th is Val's next class. Viviani just put it in there, if anyone.
So. Thank you. Thanks, Viviani.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Nancy. Nice to see you here. I thought I saw another question here.
So, Carl, have you signed up for that class yet?
Yeah, we really think you should sign up, Carl.
We're going to push you into it if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, you had a nice day too, Viviani? Yeah, it is nice here.
Wow, that's pretty good. It must be nice everywhere.
Looks like a lot of people had nice days, which is good. We usually say here in Melbourne, we have 4 seasons in one day. Sounds like Cleveland. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we've already had days where it could be 70 sometime in the day and it's snowing at night. 80s in southeast Kansas. I'm not quite ready for 80s yet. Okay. Okay, I am going to start by reading our prayer protection. Okay, so we are surrounded by the pure white light of divine source. We ask Archangel Michael to protect and guide us, and we call forth our angels, guides, beings of light, and Akashic Record Masters to assist us now to receive the information of the highest truth, the highest frequency of love and light, allowing us to receive exactly what we need for our greatest good and the greatest good of all humanity. Thank you. Now I'm going to open up the Akashic Records for everyone in the chat. We open ourselves to the light. And with this light, we open ourselves to our truth. And with this light, we open ourselves to our soul's purpose. And with this light, we open ourselves to be guided towards our highest good and the highest good of all in divine love. And so all who are in the chat and all who will watch later are given the truth to best serve them on their healing journey into love and acceptance that is most beneficial for them in this moment. So with this light and guidance, we unlock the energy field of all in the chat and all who will watch later to receive the record of their soul. Okay. So the first question. Okay, here it is. Is that a question of, are you living one now or can you? Yes, you can. Do you want to read that one, Jenny?
Oh, so the answer is yes, you can.
Yes, you can. It depends if you want to know, are you or can you? The answer is yes.
I'm not sure that if you're supposed to know about your parallel lives. What do you think, Cheri?
There's two schools of thought on that. I've heard some people say they don't want you to know. Well, actually three. Some people say you can know. Some people say you can't know. And some people say it's up to the universe whether they'll let you know. If that makes sense.
I'll see if I can get something.
Right. Now, sometimes if you're like, it's easier to get if you're leading a life as a different, like a galactic, that is easier to get, but I'm not sure. So give it a shot.
So that's kind of what I was getting, that she's leading a galactic life. So I'm definitely getting that you're leading a parallel life as one of our star being brothers or sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And you're working, either you're working on a ship or you're working in support of a ship, like okay, kind of like an airport. Your support, and then the ships come and go, then they come and go, but you're kind of boots on the ground in support. But it's a really important job because they depend upon you. So I'm not sure if Cheri's going to agree with this, but I think that I don't know what they're called, but they look like praying mantises, and they're very, very, very high vibrational. Like I only know one other person that's doing that in her parallel life in this time, and she's pretty high vibrational. So I think you actually know people in this life that are in that life too. So there you go.
I have to admit, when you were reading, I was starring questions and I wasn't totally paying attention. Other than I got that she did have a parallel galactic life.
Yeah.
And there's the for Val to register for her classes. And she did say that I get glimpses of another life that could have been. And we do that. Even in dreams, we can get visions of our past lives. Lots of times we do get visions of parallel lives that we are leading at the time. You'll have weird dreams and not know, and they very well could be a parallel life you're leading at right now, either in this universe or a parallel universe. It's, that's a big rabbit hole.
Or if you're meditating, you can ask them to show you your parallel life.
Right.
And I don't see why there's any reason why you shouldn't know about it. I
think, I mean, Susan Lynn did a Way Out Wednesday on how many parallel lives you could have.
Yeah,
it
blows my mind, actually.
Right. And from what I remember, she said, like, there's certain things you're not supposed to know and certain things you're supposed to know. And I can't remember it all, but that's, so I know she had a Way Out Wednesday show if you want to dig through all her stuff and see about it. And she had a way of, she did some exercise that she did, if I remember correctly, it's coming back, about picking a number and that's how many lives you had or something. Like, she has 3 current lives right now.
So Roxy, does that feel correct to you? But I definitely feel for sure that you're like in support, like, and the ships are coming in and going out, coming in and going out.
But she has one foot in each universe.
Yeah.
So to speak, kind of. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm.
But I really think you do have some parallel lives right now in the same universe.
Yeah, there's more. There are more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I would try going into, try and just do some research on it. There's different techniques. And if they don't want you to know something, they're not going to show it to you.
Yeah. But yeah, the answer is definitely you can have a lot of parallel lives. It's really hard to wrap your head around, for me to wrap my head around that. But because it's kind of a new concept to us. Mm-hmm. But I know one person that is definitely leading another parallel life, and 2 people that I can just think of right offhand. And, I know them well. And they're in this community, and they've got at least 2 lives.
I have 2.
And they've met, they actually work together on the other side, or in the other parallel life. They actually work together. So,
yeah,
you might be a part of that. I think
we probably all
there. We
probably work together on the other side. Okay. Yeah. So let's see here. My question will be if I'm on the right, are you on the right path at this moment? Okay, let's see. They're saying yes, that they're sending you guidance right now on a direction that they want you to take. They're saying that they're giving you signs that they want you to take a certain direction. So if you've been getting inklings on something you want to do or pursue, or something new or something different, it might even seem out of character for you. They're sending you that because they're trying to nudge you in a direction right now. So if you're getting some being pulled into a direction, or a different job, different way of life, just whatever that is, they're trying to move you in the direction they want you to go. So you are going, but they are nudging you a little in the direction you want to go. So follow what you feel is right now. Follow if you're getting, gosh, I really want to take that class, or I really like that, or I really, investigate it and go with it, because you're being directed in a certain direction. So they're guiding you along your path right now. But you're doing what you're supposed to do. But right now they are sending you a bunch of guidance. So if you do feel the inkling to maybe even just change your direction totally, that's them doing that right now. So I hope that was helpful for you, Danielle. Okay. Yeah. Because sometimes things will pop up and it's like totally out of blue for your character. And you're like, where the heck did that come from? That's them saying, yeah.
So yeah, follow the synchronicities.
Right.
And unfortunately, they're not going to lay it out and say, this is what you're supposed to do. They drop the breadcrumbs, and then you have to follow your guidance and follow the breadcrumbs, and then it leads you to the right place. But sometimes it takes a long time.
It does, but they are sending you things right now. They're sending you some guidance and direction that they want you to go in. So, and keep a journal. So if you are getting the synchronicities, numbers, songs, things that pop in your head out of the blue, you find something, you feel like, you know, you want to take a class that's out, you want, who knows what it is, you know, start writing it down. Then it'll start to kind of pull together if you do that.
And follow what makes you happy.
Right.
You know, if you're getting ready to do something and you kind of get this feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, don't do that. Don't do that. Just and then you can course correct really quickly. So just by following what makes you happy, really.
Right, your intuition and what makes you happy. And if you have a feeling of dread that you get, however that presents itself in you, that's a really big clue not to do that.
Or if you meet
not nervous, but dread.
If you meet somebody and you're like, I don't know about that.
Right.
Course correct the other way, but they are leading you and guiding you, and you know, you're gonna find out where they want you to be.
Right. It feels like they're trying to send you in a little bit of a different direction. Like your life is kind of going to go a little bit out of character from what you would normally, people would think you would normally do. That's going to be, people are going to think maybe you might not, if they really, they'll think it will make more sense than people think on the surface, if that makes sense. So.
And you know, and meditate or, you know, ask your guides and angels, you know, write down questions and ask them. And then just wait.
Well, the angel list. That's right. We were going to talk about the angel list. We'll talk about that later. The angel list.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll say it now. What the hell? So anyways, we were chatting last night and we were talking and I was saying about things that I you know, and she's like, well, did you ask your, you know, angels for help? And, you know, do we think of doing the thing, that kind of stuff right away? No. Why would we? And I said, that's when I set up, okay, I'm going to write a list and I'm going to call it an angel list. And I'm going to literally make a list of things I'm requesting angelic support for. And I'm really going to write it down and leave it out. So but by writing it down and saying it out loud, it makes it more powerful. Yeah,
I do think you have to, when you're asking help for an angel, you have it. I think you're supposed to say it out loud.
Right.
Like, I mean, every time I get in my car, I ask them to put white light around my car. Don't let me hit anybody. Don't let anybody hit me.
Right.
And I actually say it out loud and protect me or whoever else is in the car. And that's like my insurance policy.
Right. And when you can come up with even like your own prayers and own sayings, not that someone else's aren't powerful, they are, but sometimes they can be a little bit more powerful because it's your creation. So when you're creating it and you're saying it and you're writing this list out loud, and then, you know, you put it out there, it's just reinforcing it and to the universe. It makes it just much more stronger and powerful.
Yeah.
So, okay. And here's the next one. So this Jenny.
Yep.
Oh. So Kay wants to know, may I ask who I was in the past life before coming to this one?
Okay. Hi, Kay. So I'm getting that you're an entertainer, kind of like vaudeville, and you traveled around. And it was kind of stressful, but kind of fun. And you traveled around with the people in the vaudeville troupe. They were your family. So I don't know if you like to like be in plays now or, but you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to, if you're not in plays, to, you know, local theater. It's helpful to like try to do that, or go see local theater. I mean, that's really amazing too. But yeah, you were definitely a vaudevillian person, and I get that you were a man, but you were funny and happy and laughing, and you made everybody around you feel good. Everybody, like, I would like to have known you in that life. Really, wow. So you traveled around. There wasn't any one base, but it was definitely in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. That's funny. I wasn't trying to answer that, but when you asked that and then you said that as soon as I read it, this picture popped in my head and it was exactly what you said. I saw the old hat with the cane and doing the vaudeville thing. Like,
and I've never gotten that before, ever. I've been, doing this for a long time and I have never, ever gotten that before.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
So yeah, you were happy, but you made everybody else around you happy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Beach. Okay. Hi. First time welcome. It's nice to see you here. I was guided to live where I am, but I'm feeling like I need a change. What's next for me? Well, let's see what they have to say. But lots of times they'll say whatever you feel you want to do as far as moving. They really don't ever tell you to move. They more or less guide you and put that feeling for you to move in there, if that makes sense. But let's see what they have to say. They're just saying that new adventures await you and the time is not right for you to know, but to follow how you feel, and it will lead you to where you need to go.
I'm kind of getting used to start with traveling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, adventure. They said adventure awaits.
Yeah.
So go where you feel you want to go.
Like where have you always wanted to go?
Right. They want you to go where you feel it's kind of like by you going where you feel you need to go, you're actually going where spirit wants you to go. So where do you feel you want to go is where they want you to go. Does that make sense?
And so we're convinced that they're moving around, that spirit is moving around a lot of light workers now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know why, but a lot of people are moving.
Right. A lot of people are moving who are light workers, and they're moving around, and they're not necessarily. And I have to admit, a lot of it's like that too. People all of a sudden like, I want to move, and they're gone. And it's
Right.
and when things start falling into place, that's the when the timing's right, and they'll put So by you starting to feel that restless feeling, that's them telling you, okay, get ready. We're going to move you. You're going to be moving. You're going to be doing this and doing that. But they said adventure awaits. So,
yeah. And some of the light workers, they're moving across the world.
Right. And some of
across the
travel.
oceans. And then some are moving from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, they're seriously moving people around. And
Yeah.
People aren't where they're supposed to be yet, but it's in the process. So you may be one of those people that they want you to move around.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you will be in, several places. Like you're going to travel before you settle, or you're going to be traveling a while. I see you going to various places. You're not going to go to any one place at first.
And when you're traveling, if you get somewhere and you feel like, wow, I'm home, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the summer, you're going to start traveling. The summer, maybe towards.
And make a conscious effort to do it.
Right.
You don't even have to really go far. Just make a conscious effort to get out of the zone of where you are.
Towards middle to end of summer. I think that's when you might start somewhere in there. I feel August like-ish. Maybe that might be when you take your first trek, or where it all maybe pulls together between June and August, or something's going to happen around that time where you're either going to make a firm decision, or you're going to start to travel, or something's going to fall into place. It's going to let you travel, or something like that's going to happen towards someone in there. I don't know how do you feel about that? I don't know why they just said August.
I think if people are always like, if you feel like you're going to be moving, there's no reason why you can't like drive 2 hours away from where you are even for the day, just to get yourself out of where you are. And then it kind of opens it up, says to the universe, okay, I'm listening. And, so everybody can take like a 2-hour trip to another town and have lunch and come back. And if you keep doing that, then that's going to open up to more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. And I do think, though, a lot of stuff's going to, by the end of the summer, I think you'll have a much better grasp on what you're going to do. Like, it's just going to all kind of fall into place. So I hope that helped.
Peach.
Let's see. Light worker. Whose turn is it? Mine or yours? Or are we just kind of both winging it? We're kind of winging it today.
I think it's mine, but yeah, we're winging it.
Okay, we'll wing it. What the hell? Yeah. What spirit? A light worker wants to know, what spiritual gifts do I have in this incarnation?
Light worker, you have them all.
Oh, that's what I heard. I heard all of them. Duh. I hate to say that, like, duh.
You have them all.
Yeah.
So if you're not feeling them yet, then
they'll come in.
Start practicing, and get some cards. Pull 3 cards. Ask your guides a question, and then you don't know how to read. You don't have to know how to read the cards. You can just look at them and intuit what the message is, and then so I don't know how much you know, but using your gifts is it has to be in the imagination. So start doing things where you're imagining, and the more you imagine, the more your gifts will come in. And so I guess some people have stronger gifts than others. Does it make sense? Cheri, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Like I feel things. I don't see anything. Cheri sees everything, and like Linda sees everything. I just feel it and know it, but I don't see it. So
now you've seen a couple things here and there.
Well, a little bit, but that's not my
I do see things a lot more than
suit.
I see movies a lot.
Yeah, ask your guides and angels like what the strong. I mean, I think you probably already know. I mean, people know.
I think you know. I think some of them you might not really realize, but you know on some level, and you just need more proof.
And maybe if you join a class, being in the class and doing things, you're talking to other people, and then, that'll kind of pull out of you what your biggest gifts are. I mean, you have them all, actually. So,
yeah, you do. And also when you exercise them, they'll get stronger and they'll start coming out more. So,
yeah.
But like she said, pull the cards and just write down what you think, just intuit it. You start work maybe with a pendulum, whatever you feel drawn to, do it, automatic writing. It doesn't matter, or sit and just imagine.
I use a pendulum a lot. I use the finger thing, if that Cass does. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah. I just got a new pendulum that attacked me.
And I tell the story about the pendulum. I love pendulums.
I was in a store and I was looking at not this pendulum, at another pendulum. And somehow it flung itself on the floor. Now this is a cement floor and this is a stone pendulum. This is the pendulum in question. And it literally bounced off the floor and bounced up on my pant leg. Like, what the hell? So I took that as a sign. So it came home with me.
That is a sign. That's a big sign.
Yeah, it's purple. And
I remember the first pendulum I ever bought when I went, to like go close to each one of them. Mm-hmm. The one that I went, the one I picked started going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Like it was vibrating violently as I went close to it. So those stones and those pendulums, they kind of pick you.
Right. This is the one I picked up this one and the other one threw itself at me. I have about 5 pendulums. So,
Yeah.
and I can't pronounce what that was, but when LEP something, something, something. And, but when I looked it up, the meaning of it actually fit with some of the things I was going through at the time, which was kind of really, so, things like that don't happen by accident. So if a pendulum flings itself off the shelf, bounces off a cement floor onto your leg, I would take that as a sign, just like when the universe shoves you down this stuff.
But yeah, like you have them all for sure. And I think that you've had them all for
many lives.
Forever.
Right.
Like over and over and over and over and over again.
It's because you've been here incarnating, working for centuries, increasing the vibration of humanity.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. That's part of the reason why you're here, is you're increasing of humanity. And that's like that with a lot of us. You have multiple things here, but many of us have incarnated for tens of thousands of years just to increase the vibration, to help to increase the vibration and raise the vibration. Just like some souls are here who come here to do more negative things, maybe to teach us a lesson. Like they're here, they're here for a divine purpose also. There are people here that are continually here to help raise the vibration. And I think you're one of those people that are here to raise the vibration. So I hope that helps or makes sense. I don't know. Are we making any sense today, people? I don't know.
I think so. You can raise the vibration, even if you're ill and you can't get out of bed, you can still raise the vibration of yourself and everybody else by filling your heart with love and then sending it out. And there's an unlimited amount of love. So even if you bring it into yourself and send it out, you're still filling yourself up with love too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you, a light worker, for that question. And the next question is from Lise. Why do I value other people's opinions over my own? Let's see. Because you're insecure about yourself. You're afraid to show your true self because you were ridiculed and you were treated poorly for being yourself in the past. So you're afraid to show yourself how you are now to others. So you don't think, you think less of yourself than you do other people because you have been beaten down in past lives and you weren't valued. That's why you had lives where you were like, they're showing me a life where you were literally beaten. Like no matter what you said or did, you were like beaten down, and it was just like, shut up, you're useless, you're nothing, because you're poor, you have no value to society. You had a life like that where and you have brought that into this life to where you think you have no value, which is not the case. You need to let that go. And it's a subconscious thing. But that's why, sorry. And also, that was a life. It looks like you were a little boy it almost looks like one of those really dank cellar poorhouses where for some reason you didn't have anything and you had rags, and they had it looks like maybe a little bit of Victorianish England or something. And you were like, really, it was terrible where they didn't value you. And then you also had another life where you were wealthy, but you were a woman, and your opinions, the person you were with was just like, you were supposed to be almost like a child, seen and not heard, and just do what you're told. You were the wife, you had no value. So you had lives where you didn't speak up or couldn't speak up. And when you did, you got, busted down for it. So, and this one looks like Renaissance, maybe. And because you had that gilded tapestry type stuff on, like around the time of like where it would be Henry or Elizabeth, and what they're the Tudors or in that time frame. You had that type of clothing on and you were pretty well to do, but you were repressed. So you're bringing that in, those insecurities in this life. And that's why you feel the way you did. But we can heal that at the end of this, with the healing. And then just, tell yourself, that's not the way it is anymore. I have value. I'm not any less than anybody else. I'm equal to anyone else. No one is better than me. And, just let those past lives go. But you brought that forth from those past lives. So I hope that makes sense.
So also ask your guides,
right. To let it go.
To let you see how we see you. We see you as this beautiful being of light. Because I've seen you. You are this beautiful being of light. And there's, look in the mirror every day and say, I love you. But and ask the guides to let you get a vision of how we see you, because we see you as wonderful,
right? Yeah. And also, don't. How can I put this? In a way, do what you know is right in your heart, and try and think like it doesn't matter what anyone else says. No one else has to like it, not like it, this or this. If I know in my heart I'm doing the right thing and coming from a good place, what does it matter? Right. And that's a hard thing to change your mindset in that. And just to say, I have just as much value to say stuff. I am, so it takes some time, but change it. And when you ask your guides and angels to help you with that, they will help you release it.
Yeah.
That's part of the shadow work. Yeah. So,
but I do see you as a strong light worker. I really do.
Let's see. Okay, Carl. Can you please tell me of any of my past lives that are coming through to you now? And who are the people in those lives that are making their presence known to you now? You mean, okay. Do you want to know if it says, and those people that are making their presence known to you? Or do you want to know if anyone from your past lives are making their presence known to you, Carl, right now? Is that what you want to know? We'll see what Jenny has to come up with.
So I'm getting, Carl, that the railroad was really important to you. And that was kind of your family. I'm not sure if you worked on the railroad or if you jumped on the railroad cars. But you traveled on the railroad a lot. And those people were they were your friends, they were your family, your chosen friends, your chosen family. Let me see. Okay, I think it's both. I think you worked on the railroad, plus you also you would hop cars to go to someplace else. But it was allowed because you worked on the railroad. So that was a real camaraderie of people. And okay, so if you're building the railroad, there's not a lot of people around. There's no town. So your family would have been the people that you were working with. I think you are a strong, proud man. You are respected. But you were part of the camaraderie of people who actually built the railroads. And if there's anybody in your life now that you have a connection to that you don't understand why you're friends, or why you why they look up to you, or why you look up to them, or that's who they are. I think you had a wife, but you were hardly ever there. And you loved to travel. You loved to, like, so like I said, you were able to hop on those cars and go, but it was okay because you worked for the railroad. I do think that you're going to meet people, if you haven't met them already, that you knew then. And when you do, your soul recognizes their soul. It's hard to explain that, but you'll like, you can even see somebody across the room and you go, oh wow, I'm really nice, I'm attracted to that person. I can kind of see like sitting around eating beans by the campfire, because they didn't have like real chefs there. It was manual labor and hard work, but you loved it. And I think maybe sometimes you miss that camaraderie that you had then, but you can find it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah. I actually had relatives of mine that worked for the railroad. Okay.
I think this was when one of the railroads was being built. It was being expanded.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on the East Coast. It wasn't in California. It was
in the middle of the country.
In the middle.
Union Pacific.
Like Kansas or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it was Kansas. It could have been Ohio. It could have been Ohio. What's that railroad? Ohio and what?
There was a Baltimore, Ohio. There's an Erie Railroad.
I think it was definitely had Ohio in the name.
Okay.
So
wow, that's weird.
So Carl, you can look up the names of the railroads that used to be, because most of them have merged.
Yeah, I think like my grandfather worked, or great grandfather worked for, I think it was the Erie in Ohio or something, or Erie Railroad, but it was in Ohio, Pennsylvania and Ohio. And I had the Baltimore in Ohio. Baltimore and Ohio, I think, was a big one.
If you had to ask me right now, I'd probably say Baltimore and Ohio, but it definitely had Ohio in the name.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
So Carl, like, do some research, look, Google it, and then whatever like makes your heart get excited, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, but you had really good friends that were your family, and I do think you missed that camaraderie. But you're going to find it again. I really believe that you're going to find it again. You're going to find some of those people. Because why would you ask that question if you didn't know in your soul that you were going to find some of those people again?
Right. I think you have. I actually, it's going to sound crazy, I think you might have in our group.
That's a possibility.
I think he's found some. Daniela asked that you had a pendulum that came apart. What's the meaning to that? And I think some of that, other than poor workmanship, could be it wasn't meant for you at the time. The energy of that particular stone wasn't meant for you to have, right? Either at all or right then. Usually I had a pendulum that got lost in the mail, and I knew that was a sign not to get it because I wasn't sure whether I was going to get it, right? And it got lost, and I'm like, okay, I tried to cancel it because I'm thinking that's a sign. I get it, right? And it had a crack in it, and then before you know it, it broke. So I knew it. That's, for some reason, the vibration didn't match yours at the time. I think that's a lot of it at the moment, or you're not meant to use one at the time, or
so
like that.
Your energies can change.
Right.
So you can be one way, and the pendulum, is good for you. And then you change, you grow, and then the pendulum is not good for you anymore. You need a different one. Right. And it's probably that.
Right. So that's why it wasn't the right one for you at that particular time.
Yeah, but it was right for you earlier.
Mm-hmm. So, let me see. Okay.
I would be interested. Ask Carl. Carl, can you, text, put in the chat. Are you interested in old trains? I'd like to know that. Are you like a railroad buff?
Okay, let's see. What does Carl have to say here? Carl has a lot of things.
Because I feel like I'm gonna cry, so I know it's right.
Okay. Carl says, I love when Jennie closed her eyes. And then he said, a taxi driver. Then, yes, 1920s. Was I white? How interesting. Yes, but how? But now I don't know how to drive. I have very few friends now. The Gilded Age. So he was responding as you were doing it. Got that. Okay. So there we go. That's what all his.
So this is before the 1920s.
Yeah, Carl. Oddly enough, yeah, she says, Carl said, I feel like I was in your group. I kind of feel like that too, oddly enough.
Yeah.
There's a long story to that one too. But email me, Carl.
I see that you do miss that camaraderie that you had. But
I think maybe you're afraid too, a little bit. A little bit of afraid that you might, if you get a camaraderie, you might lose it. Does that make sense? But I think you found it. Okay, Nancy. I don't know. Could we, let's see. Did I have an exit point in the last 2 weeks? I don't know if I'll see what they say, but I don't know what they.
What do you get, Cheri?
This is what I got, and I'm not sure if this is that if you had an exit point and you didn't take it, then you're not supposed to know about it. Like they don't want to say if you did have an exit point and you chose not to take it, you made your choice. That knowing isn't going to, like they don't want to say yes or no, but they're saying that since you made the choice, it's irrelevant anymore. That go by how you feel.
I'm not feeling that you had an exit point.
Yeah.
But it could be because you chose to stay, and so the exit point's gone.
Right. It's irrelevant now, they're saying. Even if you did, it's irrelevant. You chose to stay. If you were to have an exit point. I don't think they like to commit to stuff like that.
I mean, I do know somebody that she, I don't know whether it came in a dream or a meditation, and it was kind of laid out. You have the possibility of leaving the planet in the next 2 weeks. And she had to decide. And she decided that they said, your work is kind of done. Kind of everything. No, what they said was to her, what you agreed to do is done. And she thought it over, and she came to the conclusion, well, okay, what I said I was going to do, I did, but I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, because she helps like thousands of people. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. So she decided not to take that exit point. And it was a conscious decision, and she remembered it, but she's like that high vibrational that she would remember. But most people don't know when their exit points and when they didn't take it. I've had like 4. I don't remember what they were.
Right. Because once you pass it up, it's irrelevant.
Right.
It's irrelevant anymore. It doesn't matter. And the Akashic Record Masters do make it a point, if something's truly irrelevant, they don't really commit yes or no to anything. They're just like, it's irrelevant. They're kind of matter of fact about it. And also, even sometimes when we get a brush with death, or we contemplate something, or you know what I mean, that doesn't mean you necessarily have an exit point either. Just because you might come close to death, or might be in a bad accident, or contemplating something, doesn't necessarily mean you have an exit point. It could just mean you're going through a dark night of the soul, or a specific lesson, or something like that. So it could be more of a dark night of the soul rather than an exit point.
And if you did have an exit point, like, and you pass it by, it's gone. So there's no more exit point.
Right. I feel more like maybe a dark night of the soul. It was more of choose how you want to live your life. I think it was more of a self-reflection, dark night of the soul, like bring you to your knees so you could kind of maybe pull things into perspective a little bit, is more seeming of what it was versus an exit point. Does that make sense to you, Jenny?
Yeah, but so I want to know, Nancy, what did you feel like?
Yeah.
I mean, when I had my exit points, somebody told me about them later, and they gave me the years. And I'm like, you don't really remember that you had an exit point and you didn't choose to take it.
Because sometimes you could have an exit point when, I think I might have had one when I was a teenager. I went through an intersection, and as soon as I went through it, the car behind me got totaled and the people in the accident died. So I was like, I wonder if I could have maybe something like that could have been an exit point. Me and my mom were in the car, and it was like, I don't know if it was, but I mean, stuff like that. Or when you make a wrong turn by accident, could you know what I mean? I sometimes wonder if those are exit points too. And you like, because your oversoul's making decisions that you're unaware of at the time. You don't always know the decisions that are going on a soul level, on a conscious level.
Or you could be really, 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 really ill.
Right.
And your soul decides to stay.
Right.
And pass an exit point, but it may take you years to get well, but your soul decided to stay, but there was an exit point.
Yeah. So, it says, let's see it. She said, I already know I was not ready, have things to do with loved ones, maybe a dark night of the soul. Could have gone either way, but I did say, if it's my time, then hurry up, because the chest pain really hurt. Then it wasn't your time.
Right. So I've said that before too. And you know what? Once you give up and you say, it's not my time, I'm going to stay here, then you receive help into getting better.
Right.
That's when the help really comes.
And no matter how much you want, say, to die at times, if it's not an exit point and it's not time for you to go, no matter how hard you try, like I joked one time and said, if I wanted to jump up off a bridge tomorrow, probably Archangel Michael with my mom on the back would come swooping in and catch me. Because if it's not your time, it will not happen. Yeah, something will happen no matter how determined you are.
It just wasn't your time.
Right.
You might go through something horrendous where you could have died, but it still wasn't your time.
Right.
But
like when my dad had one of those, an exit point. I just thought of that. Thank you. My dad, when he was really sick and he was in this coma, and he did the tunnel thing, and he went and he had, came up and he saw the people that had crossed on the other side. And he's like, I want to stay. And they're saying, no, it's not your time yet to go back. So even when you go and you're dying and you've died, when you cross over and it's not your time, that they send your butt back. So, the only time you're allowed to make that decision, if it is an exit point, but if it's not really your time, they're going to they're going to send you back. So even when he had that, when he was in the hospital and he had died, they sent him back.
And a dark night of the soul, it'll change your life.
Right.
You'll be very, very unhappy. And then you climb your way out of it, and it really changes your life for the better.
It does.
I'm not sure you had a dark night of the soul. You just had a close brush.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not going to, the Akashic Records Masters are not going to say.
Right.
They're just not going to say. Because if you did and you passed it, they're not going to say it's over.
Right. They'll say it's irrelevant now.
Mm-hmm.
They're really big on relevancy.
Yeah. What's relevant to your path forward?
Right. That's what their concerns are. What is relative to what you're doing on your path? Let's see. I'm a Cancer too. Yeah, I have a lot of Cancers are empathetic. Maybe you have Pisces and stuff in certain things. A lot of I think water signs, and Pisces and
so some Aries and Cancer and Libra. I can never remember which is which. So I think that I don't know. I can never remember. But
Okay, here we go. If time allows, can I ask the masters what gifts would be good for me to work on for my highest good, and what do they see me doing? Hi, Sonia. Let's see. Who's reading, me or you, or we both are?
I guess we both are.
Okay, well what the hell?
See who gets it.
Okay. I see more of an intuition and a claircognizance and a psychic knowing and using your intuition. Like I see you flipping cards, but not looking at the book. You're like knowing, like really, I think that's your biggest thing. Your heart center, your psychic knowing, that sentientness, that's going to be your strongest suit. And seeing and knowing.
I agree, but what you get, you have to trust it. That's
right.
The hardest part.
Yes.
It's trusting what you get, because you think, oh, that's not right. Oh, yes, it is. You have to trust. So I would say work on the trusting what you get.
Yeah.
And we all have to work on that. I mean, it's
right. Yeah, we do. When we all have high points and low points on that. And times where like we should have said that when we didn't say something because we think it's not relevant, and it turns out it would have been relevant. We should have said it, and stuff like that. So yeah, but it's a learning experience. But I would definitely say not right now. Those are your strongest points, but you have ability, all of them. But those are what I think you're really going to hone into, especially right now. So
yeah, you just know what you know,
right,
and believe it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Can you tell me what I should be doing here? Can you tell me what I should be doing here in this lifetime? Okay, I'll let you go first this time.
That's a hard one. So I get that you're just supposed to be making people happy. Just by you being around, it makes other people happy. It spreads around the love and the light. You don't have to do anything. Just be. Just be. And
I saw you possibly working with animals, maybe. Like at a shelter, maybe? With dogs or walking dogs or doing something. They showed me a picture of you with dogs. Like you're smiling, but you're walking in the park with a dog. Well, maybe that's just showing being happy.
I think that when you walk past people, let's just say, for instance, you're walking a dog and you walk past people, the light that you have radiates out to other people, and they feel it, even though they're not consciously aware of it. But
I think you can communicate with animals too. I think you have a connection to animals. Do you feel that? Like she's looking right at a dog and like the dog's like almost like look like she's talking to it, and it's almost like she's connecting to the dog.
yeah, I would
if you feel so inclined, I would say you could work with animals.
So I would just start talking to dogs in your mind, or cats, or any animals in your mind. Just start talking to them in your mind, and like I do that. And so I'll say, "Where are you hurting?" This is the last question was about was it a cockatiel? And so the cockatiel was having problems, and so I asked the cockatiel, "Where are you hurting?" And the cockatiel had already had a lot of Reiki and all kinds of stuff, so the cockatiel was feeling better. But what was left was in the claws. I got the image of my claws are still hurting, but I'm really a lot better.
Oh,
so you can actually do that. It's possible. It's actually possible. Just start practicing. Just do it for yourself.
Right. I think, yeah, I definitely think you have the ability to communicate with animals. And another thing is, when I was doing an exercise, I went in to see what I could. And I asked my dog what his happy place was. And the next thing I know, I see this grass coming in my face. And I'm like, well, I have a pug. So he was walking down our street. Once I started looking around and realized, oh my gosh, I actually did get into my dog's energy, and I was actually communicating them, and then when you do that, be careful not to get so excited you throw yourself back out, because that's at first when I did that, I got so excited, I threw myself out of the energy. So try and stay in the energy. And, but yeah, just try that. Just like
start practicing.
Right. Just start practicing stuff like that. Like with an animal, show me your happy place, or show me, something light and all that. But you don't in your mind, do it in your imagination.
Or you can, you can start with like things like, well, what's your favorite toy? Just little things. I actually channeled somebody's dog, and the question was, why is my dog afraid of the closet? And I actually started growling. And it's not that I meant to growl. It just came out. And I'll never forget that.
That's fun. I'm sorry. I don't know why that makes me funny.
Usually when you ask, how they're doing or something, you're going to get, or how are you feeling? They're going to get, I'm happy. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to like start talking to different animals, birds, cats, dogs. And it's fun. It's really fun. So yeah.
Okay. It's 7:00. Did you want to?
Yeah, I guess we need to do that.
Okay. So if we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. We can get to it next week. I didn't realize it was so late. I know we have something to do later.
Oh yeah, we do, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I wasn't paying attention. Well, I'll be back on Thursday at 2, and then we'll be back at 4 on Thursday. So if you have any questions, come back on Thursday. We'll be back next Sunday, but come back on Thursday at 2:00. I haven't put up the show yet, but you can ask them then. And seriously, Carl, email me.
Yeah, Carl, I want to hear about, if you really, really love old trains, if you, and plus you need to join the class. You need to join the Akashic Records class.
So, okay, so you can do the healing.
Okay, great. Okay, everybody take 3 deep breaths. Another deep breath. Blow it out. One more deep breath and blow it out. So we're going to call in Divine Source, our Akashic Records Masters, our angels, guides, and any beings of light that wish to assist. Akashic Records Masters, I request that clearing and healing for everyone in the chat of any upsets, any illnesses, any psychological problems, any way where they don't feel like they're as good as anybody else, any jealousy. Today, so we ask for healings of all resentments, hurts, grief, blame, anger, everything else, to allow for complete and deep healing and forgiveness of everyone in the chat and everyone concerned. And also, we ask for this to happen in all cellular structures, in all space and time, in all dimensions and densities, and in the space in between, in all past lives, in all future lives, in all ancestral lines and all timelines. We ask for the highest good of all of us in the chat and everybody watching later, and the highest good of all humanity. We ask that we all be healed, and we ask that we all be put on the highest timeline for everyone in the highest timeline for the best good. And we thank you, and we believe, and we thank you, and so it is.
Thank you. That was awesome.
That's the best thing about the Akashic Records, people, because you can ask for healings and you can actually heal.
Right.
It's not just the reading; it's the healing.
Right.
That is, to me, is the most important thing.
Right.
And it
Absolutely.
works. And also, watch Kigaroo Spiritual Journeys, because she's been doing this Akashic Healing series, and so the Akashic Records Masters, they tell her what they're going to work on for the next show, and then they lead her in through it. But one of them was about jealousy. I was jealous of somebody, and the next day I wasn't jealous at all.
Right.
Gone.
They work wonders. Yes.
I mean, it really, really, really does work. Sometimes it takes a week or 2 or 3 or 4 to work in, but it does work. So I highly recommend those. Like, the last one was about anxiety.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and I think that was a really good one, because we all have anxiety. Like, all of us have anxiety.
Right, no matter what. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna
everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna close the records. I would like to close by thanking the light for the truth, and I would like to close by thanking the light for the healing energy, and I would like to close by thanking the light for the guidance and compassion towards our soul's purpose. And with this, we lock the records to everyone but to the person themselves, of all in the chat and all that will watch later. The records are now closed. And I want to thank everybody for coming, and we'll see you next Sunday or Thursday. I hope everyone has a great week. Hopefully everyone will have good weather this week, and don't watch too much news.
Don't watch any news.
Laugh, go out, have fun, watch Looney Tunes. Well, Congress or Looney Tunes, who can tell?
I know.
So, Looney Tunes is more fun. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Yep.